Good morning, all. Everyone can hear me? Could you please unmute
Yes.
the mic? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kiran. So,
Good morning, sir. How are you?
fine, yeah, going on. How are things from your side?
Yeah, everything is good.
Okay, nice. Okay, let's start with the Palo Alto. The last week I
Sure.
was talking about something on freshers in IT. So people are looking for that actually. That's kind of a slides, and also many people have asked about that slides because there are a lot of freshers which are coming out from the every year from the colleges, and they would like to know that what they can go for an administration side, and how do they approach the MNCs, and what are the exams are covered on that, and if they fail in their exam, what they can do on the next. Like, so they need to go for certain courses on that, so they can get trained on that. Then they can try for bigger companies to go for and write their exams, interviews, and like face to face, something like, and they can take that. So that was just a introductory, as well as information gathering about that. Something I just talk about that. Not much technical I spoke on that. It's about the courses and objectives and skills the people who are looking for that. So they need to get into the market. Now today we will be talking about the Palo Alto. This is for experienced people, not for beginners. Definitely, it is not for beginners. Experienced people in the sense I look for a people who are already been in the industry for 3 years, 4 years, because firewall is not so easier to understand. Definitely, it is not easier to understand because you require some basic, very much basic concepts like a network fundamentals, OS layers, very important, IP addressing and subnetting format, and access lists, creating access lists like giving the permission and deny statements on that, and port numbers and mappings, TCP port number, UDP port numbers, applications, and everything has been covered up in the OSL layers. That is very much important for us. In the OSL layer, we just need to talk about from the physical layer, data link layer, and network layer. In the network layer, we'll talk about the IP and other related routing protocols, and everything will come up. In the MAC layer, it is very much important. So we require to know about the MAC so we can understand and go and directly hit that particular station to block it out or permitting something. It's possible. Without the help of MAC address, IP address cannot work at all. So we'll come to the fourth layer. That is very important. That is the TCP layer. In the TCP layer, all the port numbers has been assigned and mentioned over there. 65, 535 port numbers are there. Until 2023, we will be using it like well-known port numbers, we'll call it as. And after that, we'll be calling it like a dynamic. And this dynamic port numbers only all the applications, the third-party applications and company specified, like customized applications will be working on. So we are in a position to find out that application port number, and we just need to activate those in the firewall so that the people will enjoy the access to that applications or something. So then again, it goes and beyond, and 5, 6, 7, the layers are there. Now we are talking about the web application firewall that is goes until the seventh layer that can identify the application itself and you can block it. So that is we are not talking about that now today. We are talking about today on this like access based firewall, not the zone based. Zone based we can configure here. Access based firewall, and again Palo Alto. There are so many companies are producing the firewalls. Firewalls is a quite big market because without a firewall, nothing is going to work out in the world today. Because of this current scenario, you can just take that without a firewall, everything will be get hacked so easily, and the people can take out any resources from anywhere they want, because it is currently 90% of the people are working from home only now. Working from home in the sense, what is the PC they are working on, what all the virus definitions has been updated in their own PCs, laptops, and how do they connect to that internet, and how they connecting to that corporate network through the VPNs or something. How good is that VPN? Is it a good product or a bad product, or is it having any kind of a lot of bugs in it so that the people can come in and sneak in and they can see what is the packets which are transferred between your corporate server to your laptop or something. So many things are security is like a very big, that is a very big concern nowadays. Like not only in this nowadays, the earlier years also, and in the coming post-corona period also, I can just say that security is going to be a bigger thing to discuss about that. Without security, nothing is possible. We can make it up like configuring the switches and routers to make up the local area network and wide area network. That's not a bigger issue. But how you are going to, secure your network for unwanted intruders to come into the network? How do you block them? And at the same time, how you are going to allow the people who are authorized to come in or something? So that is a challenging task for every other SOC engineer, security operating center engineer, as well as the network operating center. Network operating center engineers means NOC engineers. And the levels of people are there. SOC engineers are a level 1, 2, 3, and NOC engineers are like a level 1, 2, 3. The people are there according to their own, like skills and performances. They will be given the levels for that. So they will be performing accordingly to their own profile, and they are expecting something more. Like everything has been like, everything has been expected something more from the people actually nowadays. So what we are going to discuss is today, like this is the product which has been produced by the Palo Alto. Palo Alto has got wide variety of products in the firewalling, and they have got kind of managing platforms as well, that is called as a Panorama. And the Palo Alto can work for your on-premises network firewalls, data center firewalls, cloud firewalls, and that Kubernetes and other things are there. Container firewalls, we can have that. Virtual machine firewalls, we can have that. So many type of firewalls we are having on this Palo Alto is producing, and they are quietly, I can just say that without having any hesitations, Palo Alto is the number one in the market in the firewall. So what about others? Checkpoint is there. Fortinet, FortiGate is there. Cisco ASA, that has got the Cisco FTD and FMC, that is a management center and fire threat defense. For FTD, we normally use it for the web application firewalls and other things. ASA has been already been there, adaptive security appliance. So there is a lot of versions has been come up now. Now 9.7.1 I was working on, now 9.14 something has come up on that. So heavy upgradations also happening on that. You can convert that ASA into that FTD. It's possible if you upgrade that, the firmware in the firewall itself and upgrading the memory to that, then it can act like a, FTD for that. That is a different issue. So in the Palo Alto, we are going to have kind of, seeing the multiple model numbers and the configuration parameters, and what are the configuration ways which we are going to do that, whether we can do it through the Python, whether we can configure that to Ansible. It is everything is possible. And how do we configure it through the CLI? It's very much possible. We can we can SSH to that and we can start configuring the Palo Alto, but we need to learn the Palo Alto commands for that. And the Palo Alto commands and documentations are completely free and available in the Palo Alto site. You can download that and you can refer it out. So it's easy to configure the Palo Alto on the CLI, but 95 people are preferring the Palo Alto to be configured on the GUI only. Graphical user interface. It's a very easier, like, so you'll go and create the security policies, NAT policies, object creations, Windows Server AD logins, creating the security profiles on that, upgrading the certificates, PKI and other certificates and other things which we can make up that, configure the entire device to do for the complete maintenance or something. So everything is possible through the GUI, graphical user interface. So people who are coming from the Windows background, they'll be looking for the GUI based environments. But I would like to tell you, when you go for a troubleshooting on the firewall side, because every other firewall is based on Linux platform only. I can definitely say that, because when you configure it, when you log into the Palo Alto on the CLI, you'll be finding out that a lot of the Linux commands you can able to easily run on that, to find out how much process is running and find out what all the policies has been installed on that, and to pick up the TCP dump from that firewall when there is some problem has been happening on that, some attack has been happening on that, and to upgrade that firewall from one version to another version. We can use that CLI format. And it is very easy to remember the commands. Then you just remember the multiple windows and like icons and the screens. You just need to remember that, because I am from the Linux background, so we look for most on the CLI side. So it's okay. It's depend on the people's like the way they are looking for the things to get configured or something. Both the way, it's a similar configuration which we do. That either we on the GUI or in the CLI, everything is going to be the same one. But CLI is most convenient for myself, I can say. So configuration is possible, as I told, that Palo Alto firewalls can be configured. Either it is a virtual machine firewalls or a physical appliance firewall, or the firewall which has been installed on the cloud, AWS, Azure, or Microsoft, or like more than Google Cloud, and everywhere, wherever you install it, because you are going to configure it through that, giving that public IP addresses to that, and you will log into the GUI and you can configure that everything, upgrading the licenses and virus definitions and updates, which goes on with the, the virus definitions and other things, signatures, they call it as like, so security signatures, we just need to update that. That upgradation can happen only when the proper license has been installed on that. So it will be talking to the Palo Alto side, and it will be downloading the latest virus signatures and attacking methods for that. So Palo Alto has, everybody is going for that nowadays. Artificial intelligence and machine learning is it's not so alien subject for anyone nowadays, because even our Google Map is utilizing the AI and ML. So Palo Alto is also been utilizing the same artificial intelligence and machine learning for to take the threat intelligent decisions before attacking that. That we call it as like a prevention system, intrusion prevention system, and intrusion protection systems, web application firewalls. These are all the new terms which we talk about. That either we will be calling it like a stateful firewall or stateless firewall. That is very bit older. So what we are thinking about that, we require to know about the Palo Alto models, configuration methods, connecting to the console and configuring the things. What could be the default username and password to log into that Palo Alto firewall? How do we create the users for maintenance purpose, not for the end users I'm talking about, the firewall administrators, like you and me, like L3 people, L2 people. How do they log into that, and what is the level of access they are going to have it on a Palo Alto firewall? And and creating the profiles for that, so that the certain application people will be getting the particular profile will be applied for them. And how do we create that VPN, virtual private network, for the people to log into that, either by through the corporate means like a site-to-site VPN creations, or web VPNs, or SSL VPNs, like a secure socket layer VPNs. Like, so people will be logging in from any part of the world to that firewall. So through the firewall, they'll be accessing the corporate network on the back end. So we need to beef up all the security parameters and all IPsec parameters, which we need to know, encryption, decryption technologies, authentication methods, and IPsec protocol versions, either ASP or other protocols. We just need to use that. So everything we just need to know, because just configuring a firewall is not so easy thing to do that. And without having the proper knowledge on the networking side, networking in the sense very clear about the networking. Yeah, somebody's saying the Imran Khan. Yeah. Without having the network fundamentals. Network fundamentals means basically you should be a good in IP addressing and understanding the subnetting format, because granular access, if you'd like to give it, subnet level, per subnet level, micro subnets levels, like VLSM be required to know, FLSM be required to know. So this is a very basic requirement which we'll be looking for. First of all, you should know about the network fundamentals, OS layers, and routing and switching, we should know. Then you should be knowing about the protocols to get configured on the routers and other things. Then you should be knowing about the TCP/IP protocols and everything, port numbers and other things. Then you should be knowing about the access lists and other things and all. First of all, what is the blocking, what is the denying, what is the permitting, what is the protocol, port numbers, how do they get configured, which protocol port is mapping to the which application on the TCP layer, and what is the UDP ports, how do we block an UDP port, how do we block the micro torrent? The people are downloading a lot of files in the internet and sitting in office. Like so many things are there. So many loopholes can be very easily get created from the nerd people who are quite good in the smart people are there who are sitting, because everybody is sitting on the internet nowadays. The internet is like a Atlantic Ocean, more than that. So it is so deeper. If you start keep on digging, you'll be getting so much of information from the internet. So they try to like trying everything on the whatever they read on the internet, they try to try it out in their own office network or something. So that we need to protect our networks from the in-house people first of all, then the people who are coming from the outside to attack us. So many challenges which we are going to have, it when it comes to the configuring the firewalls and tuning up the firewall daily. Tuning up in the sense like day-to-day changes need to be made. It is not just like that the firewall has been configured and it can run it for 3 years. No way. We have to configure it daily, because whenever there is a new network has been coming up, new customer has been added to the corporate network, new set of group has been created, new set of there is a team has been created on that. So that team requires some logins to the corporate network on the backend. Some of the database servers they just need to work on. Some of the application servers they need to work on. Like, so those applications, those kind of things we need to get created on that. So that is very important for us to know that daily changes are happening on the Palo Alto also, not only Palo Alto, all the network which I am talking about. Every other network, every other firewall which we're going to configure that, everything is going to have that information for that. So SOC engineers will not be having so free time to sit down and relax or something once a firewall has been configured. Every day, logs need to get analyzed and they just need to collect the logs from the Palo Alto. Because of the logs will be like surmounting logs. We just need to find out that what is the logging information which we are going to give it, like what level of information we wanted from the particular customer or something like that we can set up. So once it has been set up, that number of MB of logs, MBs and MBs of logs are start flowing on that. We just need to take that and start analyzing. Either we will have to redirect that log to the syslog server. That configuration is required for that. So we log into the syslog server and pull up that logs. Rejoin, it will help. Don't hear any voice. Yeah, please. Yeah, one thing I would like to tell you for all the people, Zoom meetings are having some issues always with the Bluetooth speakers and Bluetooth headsets. Please listen to your like PC speaker, or please try to listen from your mobile speaker. Don't try to listen it through the Bluetooth or something like that, or even the headsets also will be giving the problems. Okay, so in the syslog, also syslog, we just need to log into the syslog servers and we'll have to pull it up the logs and we start configuring, analyzing all the logs to find out that what went wrong. And each and every day when you collect the log, it will be like GB's level of the logs will be going up. So that is like continuous work has been there. The people are not so they cannot take any kind of a rest or something like that. So they need to analyze the logs and find out that what's actually going on this. So it's a quite challenging and tough job. Daily changes will be done on that. So according to the changes, it may be breaking the previous things also. It's possible, and it may be breaking things, it may be making things like that. So we just need to keep an eye on that, what all the configurations are already been stored. And before going for any changes or something, the earlier changes need to be referred, and accordingly the changes need to be performed on that. So many challenges are which is coming up in the Palo Alto network as well as in Checkpoint network also. So ultimately, when you talk about that firewall, in the sense, every other firewall will be working on certain principles. Principles in the sense, they will be working on port numbers, they'll be working on web application levels, they'll be working on application levels, port levels, blocking and terminating and other things, and allowing certain peoples on this, and connecting to the different routers as well, like using the protocols like BGP and OSPF and other things. And they'll be talking to some different segments in your different subnets in your network or something. That is also possible. So these are all quite, like everything is going to be the same within all the firewalls. But when we are coming into the Palo Alto you just need to work on the Palo Alto firewall so that you will be able to do the changes and perform the maintenance activities and other things. Because what is been expected that from the juniors, that the people should not break anything which is already running perfectly. Rather, if you're not making up, it's not an issue at all, but you should not break anything at all. That is more important, because when something is broken, in the sense, to find out that what engineers is broken, takes a lot of time, rather than customer is making the mistakes. So we all know about the what customer make the mistakes, and also we can easily solve it. But when engineers making the mistakes on the firewall, it may take a lot of time for us to correct it. So better you will install this Palo Alto virtual machine in your own laptop, or in any one of the VMware, ESXi, Sabre, or something like that. And just try configuring all these things. Without license of the Palo Alto firewall, we can work most of the labs. Most of the labs, I'm saying that around 90% of the labs we can perform without a license copy. Definitely, I'm telling you. If you are able to get the managed to get a license, it's okay. You can do 100% labs on that. 95% you can definitely do on that. I can show you all these things if you require. So Palo Alto can be configured without a license, and we are going to learn it for a learn education purpose only. So it doesn't make any sense at all. Nobody is going to complain about that. We are not going to crack anything at all. No, like getting it some of the license number from the hacking side and putting that and trying that. No way. It will not work at all, because when you are putting the license from the valuable resource or something, it will, the Palo Alto firewall will talk to the Palo Alto website, and it will get corrected on this one. The number which will get, uh, number will get examined by the Palo Alto side, and it will be given okay, that then only the license will get installed on this. So it is not easy to go and crack or something like that. It's not possible, but we don't need to crack it. That's what I'm telling. Means like 95% of the labs which we normally do on the production. So we can do the same thing on the without licensing on the Palo Alto firewall. What is the problem is that we cannot get that much of a bandwidth to send the packets in and out. We don't require, because we are just doing the demo purposes only. Education purpose only, means like how to create the policy, how to create the NAT policy, security policy, creating the group profiles, activating the Windows Server logins on that, finding out which ID has been logged in, what platform, what protocols are running on that, which port we are going to block it out on this one, how many interfaces I'll be configuring that, how do I configure the zones on that, which interface goes to which zone, and how do I make the gateways for each and every one, and how do I access it from the outside to inside through the firewall. These are all the normal things which normally every firewall engineer will be doing on this. That all the labs, like smaller labs, which we can perform beautifully on the Palo Alto virtual machine. You can install it out. I'll try to show you maybe in the after the slides or something like that. I just try to show you something on the practical labs, which are, because I have installed the Palo Alto virtual machine in my own virtual machine in my VMware workstation. So I'll show you some of the labs which are I already performed on that. So it's very easy for us to configure. Then we can start working on it. You can start seeing some of the many of the Palo Alto videos which are available on the sites itself. The entire documentation is available on the Palo Alto site. Or many of the entrepreneurs like me, the people have made a lot of videos on YouTube. We can go and search it out and you can start configuring all these things. So it is very easy for the learning the firewall, because Palo Alto mostly configured through the GUI only. So it's very easier. It's not like a Cisco ASA or FTD or something like that. So, and again, a Juniper is also been the Juniper SRX. So those are all mostly done on CLI based on. So it's very easy for us to configure that in as a virtual machine in your own laptop, and you can do all the practices, all the labs whichever it is required you to clear your interviews, and you can search for any other jobs or something, and you can put it in your own resume that you are a Palo Alto certified person. There is a certification is also available. We'll talk about that certification things later in the coming up in the slides on this. So we will go to the slides and we will see what all the product boxes they have, and what all things they are offering us from the Palo Alto side. Let me show you that. So they are having kind of, the corporate strategy, which they try to put that is called as a Strata, Prisma, Cortex, and other things. Strata is like that: secure your enterprise against tomorrow's threats today. Protect users, applications, and data anywhere with intelligent network security from Palo Alto Networks. Prisma, today's enterprise runs in the cloud. Secure it today, comprehensive full life cycle for any and all the clouds. It's for the cloud solution. This is for your normal Strata network, and this is for a Cortex. Cortex is like a SOC uses a MI, AI, and ML to turn the TDS into the automatic. Stop tomorrow's threats today, and industry leading detection. So many solutions are there, which we are going to see by one. Palo Alto Networks ML powered, machine learning powered next generation firewall feature overview. The phase of the enterprise is changing. Attacks are constantly and automatically morphing. New devices are proliferating rapidly without any notice. Your business needs driving rapid changes. Typical security products force you to react to these changes manually, straining your resources and leaving your organization exposed. The world needs a new type of firewall, that is one with the machine learning and analysis at the core, capable of identifying the new threats, devices, and more without relying on a fingerprinting and signatures. It must continuously update the machine learning models by analyzing the data using unlimited cloud compute. It must continuously collect telemetry and recommend policy and configuration changes to reduce risk and reduce the chances of error. So this is about the explanation about your Strata is nothing but secure your enterprise against the tomorrow's threat. That is a network security it comes in. The products of the Strata is like next generation firewall, security subscriptions, Panorama, and the cloud delivering and society, Plasma Access, VM series, CM series means cloud series like that. I can say container series. You can say Prisma SaaS, that is a software as a service. On the use cases like network security, you'll see the data center protections and IoT security, network parameter, zero trust security, secure 5G. We are going to talk about that 5G in next couple of months in India, so we are going to secure that 5G also. Cloud delivered networking and security, secure remote workforce and branch and SD-WAN. This is about the Strata solutions. Palo Alto Networks on a Prisma solutions like cloud security. This is mostly on cloud based, that is a Prisma. Prisma Cloud 2.0. If you like to protect your the devices which are installed in the cloud, means like your application servers, database servers, web servers, and file servers which are there. So we can protect with the Prisma based Palo Alto boxes like that. Prisma Access, Cloud Genix SD-WAN, VM series, and other things are there here. So cloud security posture management, cloud workload protection, cloud network security, cloud infrastructure entitlement, and management, cloud delivered networking and security. By this is the Prisma. Then the Cortex. Cortex is like using AI and ML and other things, security operations. Cortex XDR, XSOAR, Data Lake, Crypsys, autofocus. What it will do? Endpoint protection, detection and response, orchestration and automation, case management, incident response, manage detection and response, network traffic analysis, threat intel management, manage threat hunting, and cloud security orchestration. It's like some other orchestration which we can go for. Multiple Palo Alto firewalls can be managed like that with using the orchestration feature. So this is about some of the analysis which has been done in the market. 29% of the breaches due to the compromised passwords. Passwords we just need to keep it properly because like 8 letters, 10 letters, which will be going for a complexity of that. So we need to follow that standard. 66% of the organizations are actively consolidating the cybersecurity vendors. And time spent on encrypted websites and applications. 97% of the time spent on pages that use HTTPS. 96% of the pages are loaded on HTTPS. You see that? It's around 95. More than 95, the people are looking for only the HTTPS only because they would like to keep their data secured. 75% of the WAN infrastructure refreshes will include the SD-WAN by 2020. It's already been the 1 year old. So 84% of the enterprises have a multi-cloud strategy. They'll go for a multi-cloud, not only sticking with the AWS or Microsoft or something, they'll go for a multi-cloud strategies. So based on this, like analysis reports, we just need to work on the security side. We'll have to go for a cloud security, like cloud security is required, SD-WAN security is required, and we need to go for like all the web servers need to be given with our HTTPS access for this. Passwords need to be properly managed, and the cybersecurity vendors, the people are contacting them, so we need to be providing the solutions accordingly. So Palo Alto is providing the web application like web application firewall, something like that. It goes on. So malwares, URLs, and DNS and auto C2 updated within the seconds and globally. Prevent the prevent patient zero with infinite ML, inline ML, sorry, network endpoint, cloud, and 40 other partners. These are all like how they made the shared threat intelligence on this one. Statistic analysis, dynamic analysis, and machine learning, bare metal analysis, dynamic unpacking, network traffic profiling, recursive analysis. Before doing everything, they will be open up your email, they will be opening up your data to find out that if there is anything goes wrong or something. So inside the corporate, nothing is private as such. Everything has been open because of the firewall is reading each and every line which you are writing on an email or something. So you will not be, you cannot keep your privacy at all in the corporate network. You can just leave that. And the next one, 15 things you should know about the next generation firewall must do. Identify the users and enable the appropriate access. Okay, and prevent theft and abuse of corporate credentials, safely enable all apps and control functions, close dangerous policy gaps, secure the encrypted traffic, stop advanced threat to prevent the cybersecurity attacks, stop attacks that use the DNS, protecting your growing mobile workforce, extend the security to your evolving cloud environments. use the zero trust strategy, maintain consistent success control and policy across the clouds and on premises, remote and mobile networks, automate the routine task and focus on threat that matter, because continuous things which we cannot able to do, that means like we can automate the things like creating applications, creating a policies and other things which we can go with that, or monitoring things like collecting data and other things we can do the automation on this way. We cannot deploy the engineers for to do all these things. So rather at those time we can just see the threats only, which is more important for us. And coordinate detection and analytics on the other security tools, consolidate connectivity with the security, reduce exposure to the IoT security risks like this. So these are all the 15 things you should know about. It must do your firewall. So ML powered next generation firewalls, what the Palo Alto has got that. Palo Alto A series means PA series. This is nothing but physical appliances. Enables you to stay ahead of unknown threats, see everything including IoT, and reduce errors with automatic policy recommendations. This is about the physical box. This is virtual machine. VM series virtualized version of the ML powered NGFW. NGFW means next generation firewall. Protects your private and public cloud deployments with the segmentation and proactive threat prevention. CN series, container firewalls like a CN series. That containerized version of ML powered NGFW prevents sophisticated network based threats from spreading across the Kubernetes namespace boundaries like this. So there are three types of firewall which Palo Alto is producing. One is PA series, another one is VM series, last one is CN series. Palo Alto physical appliance, Palo Alto virtual appliance, Palo Alto container appliance. Somebody is asking some question. Yes, what about microservices and serverless functions? That will be covered under the CN series. Madhav is asking microservices and serverless functions. That is completely covered with the CN series on this. Container series you just need to deploy so that that can carry, maintain your serverless platforms. Evolution of the next generation firewall. Early on, stateful inspection firewalls classify traffic by looking only the destination port, such as TCP, AT, or HTTP. As the need for application awareness arose, means coming up, many vendors added application visibility and other software hardware like blades into the stateful inspection. That is called as an UTM. UTM means unified threat management offerings. Gartner predicted that end of the 2019, 90% of the enterprise internet connections for the installed base would be secured with the next generation firewalls. Unlike UDM offerings, next generation firewalls are application aware and make decisions based on application, user, and content. The integrated design improves security and simplifies operations. Given the model's success, the term next generation firewall is now synonymous with the firewall, because every other firewall is now become the next generation firewall only. No need to worry. So this is a requirement of this. Identify the applications regardless of the port, protocol, evasive tactics, and encryption. Identify users regardless of service, device, or IP addresses. Decrypt the encrypted traffic. Protect in real time against known and unknown threats embedded in applications. Deliver predictable multi-gigabit inline throughput. Next generation firewall selection criteria typically fall into three areas. One is security functions, operations, and performance. Security functions correspond to the efficacy of the security controls and your team's ability to manage the risk associated with the application traversing your network without slowing down the business. Because each and every packet has been screened and try to find out that whether it has to be allowed or not allowed. So that makes the entire performance of the network goes down. So that we need to sort it out. From an operations perspective, application policy should be accessible and simply to manage, applying automation to reduce the manual effort so security teams can focus on high value activities. Performance criteria are simple. Firewall must do what is supposed to do as the required throughput for your business needs. What we just need to look for that. What are the requirements of the next generation firewall? It's been mentioned over here. So we'll go to that PA series firewalls, and these are all the model numbers which we are going to talk about that. PA series firewalls are nothing but a physical appliances. 7000, 5200, 3200, 800 series, 220, 220R. According to your own environment, we will be using this. 7000 series power and intelligence simplicity with solidity. This is for enterprise. 5200 is for data centers and service providers. 3200 has been used for internet edge. 800 series used for the branches and mid-size business. 220 is used for prevent small form factor. It's for a smaller companies like a startups like that. Network security 220R is for a severe environments like that. So accordingly, whatever the requirements which we have the Palo Alto boxes are available for us. We can take that and we can install it in our network. The next one is VM series. Automate the network security VM series virtual firewalls. Integrate network security provisioning directly into application development lifecycle and CI/CD pipelines to ensure safe on-demand scalability. Improve network security posture. VM series firewalls allow you to consistently manage network security for applications hosted on premises, in private, and in the public clouds across the branch locations. Simplify compliance, mitigate risk by reducing your attack surface and inserting the threat prevention in a decentralized environments. Achieve speedy compliance and regulations such as GDPR, PCI, HIP, AA, SWIFT, and more. Boost SDN investments, secure virtual enterprise network in VMware NSX. So we can install it in that also VM series network firewalls. So they are not going to do the lesser work than the physical appliance or something. It is going to do the same thing as well. Only thing is that we just need to install it in a virtual machines or something. Now next comes like CN series firewalls, means keep cloud native applications nimble and secure with the industry's first container next generation firewall built specifically for Kubernetes environments. Gain visibility and control. CN series provides a full layer 7 traffic visibility, including container source IP of outbound traffic, and it detects and prevents threats sneaking into allowed traffic traveling between namespace boundaries. Streamlined DevOps security. CN series firewalls offer frictionless deployment directly to the DevOps workflows. YAML file configuration seamlessly establishes deployment as part of the overall Kubernetes orchestration process. Boost overall security posture. CN series firewalls enforce enterprise level network security and threat prevention in the container traffic, and elevate the overall security posture by sharing Kubernetes contextual information with other Palo Alto networks. Reduce the time and effort. CN series use Panorama as single console to manage all network security components and firewalls, whether physical, virtual, or container form factors. So Panorama can be installed so that we can manage all the firewalls of the Palo Alto. Either it can be a physical appliance, or it can be virtual, or it can be a container series or something. It's possible. And there are many the OS versions has come up in the PAN. PAN means the Palo Alto Network OS operating system 9.0. Now the 10 is also come, and we can install 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, anything. I don't feel any much difference in that one when I'm working on a virtual machines, but maybe like some other features may not be available on the lower versions. When we are looking for like a corporate and enterprise levels of using that centralized cloud operations for the threat intelligence sources, those are all not available on the lower series or something. It's not possible. Either we may have to go for an upgradation, or we just need to take up that new like the version and we start using on this. So with the PAN-OS 9.0, we introduced the simplified operation through analytics and automation, while giving security teams to end-to-end visibility and control across the data center, perimeter, branch, mobile, and cloud networks. What are the top 3 features? DNS security, policy optimizer, and it's an enhancement. PA 7000, some enhancements are there. DNS security, policy optimizer, new hardware for the PA 7000 series. DNS security applies to the predictive analytics to disrupt attacks that use DNS for command and control data theft. Tight integration with the next generation firewall provides automated protections and eliminates the need for standalone tools. Threats hidden in DNS traffic are rapidly identified with shared threat intelligence and machine learning. Cloud-based also, which can be identified. Policy optimizer, port-based legacy firewall using the app ID methodology based once greatly reduces opportunity for the attack. Transformation takes time, effort and resources. New policy optimizer uses a simple workflows and intelligence gathered by the PAN-OS to move from legacy rules to UpID based controls. New hardware for the PA7000 series. It's a network processing card as a switch management card has been instructed. Log forwarding card. They are using some hardware for to do the certain operations on this. Better when we start using the hardware to do the switching operations and other thing, it will be quite faster rather than using the software, because software will invoke the hardware to do that. So there is a double operation. Better if we directly give the control to the network cards like that. All the cards means the line cards, if they're performed directly, their operations means it will be faster. The next one, PAN-OS 9.1. It's introduced new services and features that help organizations to extend security into branch offices, apply security dynamically to the users, and better visibility for mobile user connecting to the network. 9.1 is like secure SD-WAN connections we can have, dynamic user groups we can create, global protect enhancement. That is nothing but the VPN, which we call it as like a GP in PAN-OS. Secure SD-WAN, dynamic user group, global protect. It's like SD-WAN. It can work with the Prisma access. It can give you the secure access service edge, zero touch provisioning. It's possible because of SD-WAN requires that. Whenever you are just inserting that new hardware to the SD-WAN network, means it will be downloading the configurations from the SD-WAN cloud and it will configure the device for you. That is called as a zero touch provisioning. Dynamic user groups allows the security teams to automatically include users as members without manually creating committing policy or groups. Like that is possible. Global protect enhancements, security teams to monitor and rectify connection failures, existing deployments of global protect network security for endpoints. NGFW deployed in global protect gateway or portal in a Prisma access mobile user deployment. So reinventing the next generation firewall with the PAN-OS 10.0. We were started with the 9.1. Now we are discussing 10.0. In June 2020, it's already been in 1 year. Introduced ML powered NGFW, first machine learning powered next generation firewall. Mission is that release the continue to empower you stay ahead of the emerging threats, blah blah things, and you can just see the releases what all they do. Continued commitment to setting the standards for the network security, enables you to proactively stop threats and IoT devices, reduce the errors with automatic policy recommendations and much more. It's what is the like when we go for an upgradation, in the sense the previous bugs are getting very much solved. That is what the more important thing. It's not about just thing which we talk about the new features or something. Old features which are having the bugs will be get fixed on the new releases. That is more important. And top features, we are going to see that what all the features are there, like IoT security, ML powered NGFW for Kubernetes, ML based inline prevention. ML means machine learning, simplified decryption, DNS security, and HA clustering. One by one, we can able to see that. Top features IoT security. You can just go through this all at a glance. Anomaly detection, risk assessment, prevention of all threats, policy recommendations, native enforcement, easy deployment. And this I took it from the Palo Alto side. You can just check it out on the Palo Alto side, that you can able to read the entire documentation as when you are free. So what it will help us to read the documentation, in the sense it will help you to suggest your team, suggest your company to go for what sort of a firewall we require for our environment, what fits most of that, which are all the features we can utilize it so easily with the price range which the company is looking for. Most that is more important, because we look for the price ranges only first of all. Whatever the more resources when we are getting for less prices, means people will be looking for that. So you can compare these features with the other firewalls as well, so that you will be able to take a decision towards buying a new equipment for your buying a new next generation firewall for your company. The next one is like ML powered Kubernetes. Native Kubernetes deployment, consistent enterprise-wide network security, streamlined security with for DevOps, unified security management, and challenges, solutions, so many things are there on this. ML-based inline prevention, new attack inline prevention, ML-driven security analytics, behavior-based detections, powered by intelligence form from web wildfire and URL filtering. URL filtering, everyone does it. Like unified threat management contains its URL filtering and other things. So This is how it works out. All the three things which we can see that. And simplified decryption, full visibility into the encrypted traffic, works with the URL filtering, support TLS 1.3, that is the latest version, and 2XX performance of the boosting, like that. Performance boosting has been there. When it start, screening the packet or something like that, the whole performance of the network will go slow down. So that can be reduced by using this ML simplified decryption, something like that. So DNS security, simplified security through the automation, predicting and blocking the new malicious domains, intelligence to act on threats over the DNS. Like that, we can have DNS security, HA clustering. HA meant nothing but the high availability, which we talk about normally. High availability. What is high availability? It is about that maintenance of your two firewalls, first firewall and second firewall. When this one fails, this one will be take over. That is nothing but like our what do you say normally HA. Either we can go for active model, active passive model, or standby model, something like that. We can configure it as it is. But everything requires that HA. When we going for that, we require active standby is okay without a license. But when you go for active model, in the sense, means both the firewalls can do the load balancing also for you. In that one, we require a proper license for that. Then only they can work on either if it is a physical appliance or it may be your virtual machine or something. It's required. Then more new features: real-time signature streaming, fastest next generation firewall, automated device quarantine for stronger security, SNORT support, device ID, flexible monitoring for SaaS applications. These are all we'll get it for a PanOS 10.0, the extra things which we get. Panorama, just an introduction about the Panorama. Security deployments can overload IT team with the complex security rules that data from multiple sources. Panorama is a network security management empowers you with simply easy to implement, consolidated policy creation and centralized management for features. You can provision firewalls centrally and use industry leading functionality to create effective security rules as well as gain the insight to the network traffic and threats. What are the key features of Panorama? Management, visibility, security, and automation. Policy management, centralized visibility, network security management, network security insights, automated threat response. These are all we can do it in a centralized platform. We don't need to do it for one by one firewall or something like that. You don't need to configure it to the individual firewall to make up all these things. Better we can club it up, all things together under the Panorama platform. One umbrella. Under that one umbrella, we can just have that. So Panorama will be managing all the devices in one screen. You can just see. So policy management is quite easier. Can create and edit security rules on this. Centralized visibility. You can able to see that by how many firewalls has been integrated to that. Network security management. Centrally manages devices and security configurations for all group of firewalls. Network security insights and automated threat response. These are all Panorama can do. Key features: device groups, hierarchies, tags for organizing policies, templates, tags for reusable network configurations, administrator specific commits to avoid accidental changes, easy software updates and upgrades. Means you can manage your firewall for upgrades as well as downgrades and other things. Definitely, it's very easy for us to do through the Panorama to upgrade these things instead of doing the through the individual things. SD-WAN connectivity for branch offices, zero touch provisioning to simplify onboarding and provisioning of firewalls at the remote sites. Visibility, remote sites in the sense if the people are not what do you say, they are not technical people, but if the firewall has been delivered over there, it need to get installed on this. They don't know how to configure it, they don't know how to console it. We just need to ask them to connect a cable to that in the like how they're connecting their PC to the network or something. They can connect to the network and they switch on that, connect the power cable and network cable, switch on that. Once it has been detected by the SD-WAN, then it will get configured. That is called as a zero touch provisioning. That is possible for all the remote sites. If the people are not much educated about the technical things, it's very easy for them. Then visibility, centralized visibility across the infrastructure, correlated insights that can be acted upon, health profiling for improved understanding of the device usage. Security wise and automation wise, we can just see the key features of the Panorama. Easy transformation of legacy rules into application based rules using intelligence gathered by the PanOS. rule usage analysis to reduce the attack surface and improve security posture, centralized deployment of the latest security content updates. Automation also can be done. Log filtering, automated actions of the third-party systems, automated policy deployments for a dynamic environment, XML and JSON-based REST APIs for easy integration. We can configure the Palo Alto through the Ansible. It's possible. We can manage it through the Python. It's possible. We already been doing it. I'm already having a lot of projects on that. So Panorama deployment can be happen in that way. Either you can do it in a public cloud, or you can do it in a Cortex data lake, or you can do it in a Prisma Access like that for a branches, data centers, headquarters like that. So this is how the Panorama deployment is done. Panorama log management can be done on this log collector. It's like hardware is going to collect the logs for you. Log collector on the private cloud, we can redirect it. Log collector on the public cloud, we can redirect. Cortex data lake, that is for a container based things, we can redirect it. So log management can be diverted into many places like. So it can be given on a hardware, and it can be given on a cloud, and it can be given to the log collector on the public cloud. It can be given to the container things, something like that. So many functionalities which are there, which Panorama can do as deployment flexibility. How the Panorama can be deployed, either in a hardware or virtual appliance. Hardware appliance means we require M200, M500, and M600. Virtual appliances, we can do it on a VMware ESXi, KVM, Microsoft Hyper-V, and public cloud environments like GCP, Amazon, AWS Government Cloud, and Microsoft Azure and Azure Government Cloud. Everywhere you can install this. Deployment modes, management only mode, Panorama mode, log collector mode. Panorama management mode in the sense, manage the configurations and manage services, but does not collect and log, manage logs. Panorama controls both policy and log management functions for all managed devices. This is clubbing together everything. Here, log collector is collecting, manages logs to the managed devices. This assumes another deployment of Panorama is operating in a management only mode. So deployment scaling. So according to the models, what is going to get supported on that? It's about that M200 model, M500 model, M600 model. Specification up to 5,000 devices supported, active, passive, high availability. And administrator authentication can be based on this. Local database, Radius, SAML, Bell Lab, TechX. Management tools and APIs, graphical user, command line interface, XML and JSON things. Deployment scales, when it goes for the virtual machines or something, we require this much of a memory. You can just go through that. In the public clouds, these are all the public clouds supported. Private clouds, Hyper-V, KVM, VMware ESXi, and vCloud Air. We can do all this. And we need to see that what is the very important information about the Palo Alto network certifications, because just knowing about that Palo Alto, we can work on that extensively. Okay, makes sense. But when it applying for the job or something, they look for a certification. What all the certifications are offered by Palo Alto for us? What levels of certification we can go for that? Either entry level, associate level, advanced level, expert level. We will see that now. In 2018 report, Cybersecurity Ventures estimated there is 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs by 2021. We are already in 2021. So 3.5 million jobs are there. Is it there? Yeah, it is there. So we require to get ourselves certified. So entry level, we will be going for this certification that is called as a PCCET. Administrator level, we'll go for a PC NSA. Engineer level, we'll go for a PC NSE or PCC SC or PC SAE. We will see what are the explanations about that each and every certification. And PCCET, there is an entry level. Network certified cybersecurity entry level technician is a first of its kind credential to cover your foundation knowledge or industry recognizes cybersecurity and network security concepts, as well as various cutting edge advancements across the Palo Alto network technology. Target audience who can take this exam. Designed for students, technical professionals, as well as any non-technical individuals interested in validating comprehensive knowledge on current cybersecurity tenets. Next level, security admin. This is actually for us. Certification objective will go for it. Highly integrated and automated. Product portfolio comprises multiple separate technologies working in unison to prevent cybersecurity attacks and identify people who can operate this firewall to protect network from cutting edge cyber threat. Who can take target audience? Security administrator responsible for deploying, operating, managing the Palo Alto Network Security Suite. This is what being required for us. Next one, this is a high level. NSC is a skill required for network engineers to design, deploy, operate, manage, troubleshoot network of the network firewalls. Certification objective is integrated and automated. Multiple separate technologies working in unison to prevent these things. Deploy and leveraging the rest of the platform, like anyone who uses Palo Alto Network products, including customers, partners, system engineers, system integrators, and support engineers, can go for this PC NSC certification. Next one, Prisma certified. This is about the cloud-based and other things. So this is the Prisma Cloud. Individuals with the PCCSE certification can demonstrate depth knowledge, cloud technology and resources. The cloud has changed all aspects of our application and development life cycles. Cloud Performance offers the industry's broadcast security and broad set security, and compliance coverage for application data on the entire cloud native technology stack throughout the development's life cycle across multi and hybrid cloud environment. This covers Prisma Cloud, Prisma Cloud Enterprise, and Prisma Cloud Compute, like that. So who can take this? Customer success, DevOps, cloud support, technical professional services, and AppSec engineers, cybersecurity architects, and team leads can take this. The last one, this is Certified Security Automation Engineer, XOR. Single platform orchestrates action across your entire security product stack for faster and more scalable incident response. It's validate that engineers can correctly understand the utility of out-of-the-box and custom playbooks and integrations. They are also able to identify customer processes that can be automated through XOR, including customers, partners. You cannot come into this certification so suddenly. You just need to go through all the proper, like PCSNA, PCNSC, something like that. Then we can come to this. And we come to the last slide as usual. You can contact me for any kind of questions on firewalls and certifications or any other cloud certifications as well at any time. It's possible. I am ready to help you. And if you have any questions on these slides and presentations which I now offered you, Palo Alto or any other firewalls or something, if you have anything in your question, anything in your mind, you can ask me that question so I can able to answer that. About the certification, how long will it take?
Hi, Ramnath.
Yeah, please tell me. Go ahead. Yeah.
In the beginning, you mentioned about the FMC. Can you elaborate a little more on that, like Firewall Management Center?
Firewall management.
Like, is it
that is used in FTD? That is not in. It is not in Palo Alto. That is used in FTD. Means a Cisco. Fire threat defense.
Okay, fine.
Fire threat defense devices will be managed through FMC, like Firewall Management Center. You can just compare with the Palo Alto. Palo Alto firewalls, next generation firewalls can be managed through the Panorama. Same thing, they are doing it in FTD with the FMC. That's it. No difference.
So in general, I would just like to know, does it come with the box or it's a different thing? It's like a license based
product. You need to purchase it. It doesn't come along with it. You just need to purchase it with the proper license for that. Then only it will work.
Okay. So for one device, only one license will be there, or like it can be more than one?
Licensing model with the sales people will be helping you to find out that. When it goes for a Panorama like that in Palo Alto, there are some devices based licenses. It is possible 15 devices, 25 devices, or it about 5,000 devices, something like that. There is some licensing models they have, like how we are having the operating system licenses and all, like network server license which you're having. Same thing they can have it. But if your company is a corporate and they are looking for like huge installments of the Palo Alto firewalls, then we can go for the Panorama. Otherwise, we can manage the Palo Alto by logging in through the GUI or a CLI itself. We can manage it through that. It's possible. But what is the problem is that every firewall you just need to log in and verify. That is what centralized management may not be possible. Otherwise, you need to go for a third-party organizations to give you the help for that. So, but for that only Palo Alto is creating a Panorama like a product to centralize management. Like. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. And somebody is asking, Tejas, enabling IPS is nothing but enabling vulnerability protection and spyware from the security profiles. See, this question it actually, generally, if I would like to answer it, that will be a different way. But when it comes to the model numbers of the firewall, which we are using them, in like products of that which we are using, the intrusion prevention system in the sense, vulnerability protection and what is it, you are saying that spyware and other things. Whichever it is going to attack you previously only, we are going to find out that. For that, IPS and all, we require a strong intelligence is required, means a security threat intelligence is required. That threat intelligence can be given only by the firewall manufacturing companies like Palo Alto, Cisco ASAs, because they have centralized, they have centralized R&D centers. What are the new kind of threats which are coming up in the network? So they only can update us that what things are currently up in the market and is coming and attacking us. So we require to know about those things. So that is nothing but an IPS which we can say, because we require to have a proper updates as to come from our security vendor to get our IPS to work properly. That's how I can answer your question, Tejas. So any other question from anyone else about the Palo Alto? And you can just see in the screen that you can talk to me on any time on this number, or you can WhatsApp me signal, and you can do the Telegram it on this number which is given on that, and you can send a mail to me on this stackerout@gmail.com. And you can subscribe to my channel, that is a YouTube channel, that's quite free. This kind of, the which one I just made it out, this video will also go up in the next half an hour in the YouTube. You can able to watch that. Please subscribe to that, and ask your colleagues, friends and relatives to subscribe to my channel so that they will be getting ahead of that IT information whichever it is coming up on the market. So I'm currently working in multiple projects as well, so I have a lot of chances to come across that what is the current IT trend is going on, what sort of certifications the people has to have, what is the skill set that people are looking for, that what all the new products has come up in the market, how to configure them, what is the new IT technology has come up in the market. So that I have a quite good knowledge about those things so that I can share it with you on my channel. So please subscribe to my channel. And moreover, if you have any other questions, please ask me. Otherwise I will go for a small lab. I would like to show it to you, all the people from my Palo Alto, which I installed in my, virtual machine. Let me open my VMware workstation. So it's a 15 I'm using on. Let me start my Palo Alto. So this is the Palo Alto, which I installed at the 805. That is a model number which I'm using. That is the current version I'm using that. It is quite stable for me. I can do all the labs on this. It is not a bigger problem for me. I can even go for 9.0, or I have the 10 also. Like 10 takes a lot of memory from my PC, so I'm not using the 10. We can see that is not a problem. And I'm using the 805 is the model which I'm using on this, the version number. And 6 GB I given for this Palo Alto. 4 processors I given currently, and 60 GB hard disk has been using that. And these are all the network adapters, which are currently installed on the firewall. So in the virtual machine we can make it up, like we don't require much space for that. So I given 4 processes. It is also not required. We can reduce it. It's not a big problem at all. And 6 GB is quite required if multiple people are logging in and you would like to do some kind of global protect, that is a SSL VPN, you would like to do that, and you would like to go for a BGP configurations and the OSPF configuration with the firewall to make multiple subnets to go through the firewall to get connected to the outside wall or something. So we require the processing power for that, as well as the memory is required. So let me start my Palo Alto. Please be with me. It may take at least 5 minutes to come up. I guess all can see my screen. It's a PanOS is booting now. PanOS 8.0.5, which I'm using that. It's as I told you, that is based on Linux only. You can see that Linux, decompressing Linux, something like that. And it is welcome to PanOS. It's saying the current date and time. It goes through the file system check on a sysroot 0. We may have to wait for quite a bit more, 1 minute and more, to finish it checking for the hard disk checking and other things. So it's very easier to learn the PanOS. That's what I seen it, because we are all working for many firewalls in the production. So firewalls are common, which I can say that generally if we speak about firewalls are common, only the configuration modes and commands and the screens may vary here and there. Concepts are quite same only everywhere. So if you know one of the firewall very clearly, thoroughly, if you can work on either Checkpoint or PAN-OS or something, you can work on any firewall. That's what I would like to tell you. So these firewalls nowadays, you just need to know about that. Firewalls can be installed in cloud, public clouds, private clouds, for the containers which we can create that. So this PAVM1, which is the name which I given for this firewall, I can log in directly to this, but it may take some time because all the services need to get started internally. It requires at least 2 minutes to get a login on this. Else it will be throwing an error that password not matching, something it will be giving us. We'll show you that password login incorrect. It will say that because we need to see all the services need to come up, means all the interfaces has to come up, all the profiles has to be loaded properly, and the GUI should be ready for to get configured. All the services inside that means all the modules which are there integrated with the Palo Alto has to be started and verified, and it should be running on on top of it. So once we have everything has been running so properly, then we will be able to get the login prompt, and we can log in and we can see what is the Palo Alto, how does it works, and what are the screens which we have, and what are the configuration screens we are going to have that, and how to configure the IP addresses and other things, how to log in through the CLI for that, and what are the commands we can run on that Palo Alto firewall to understand and to configure and maintaining this upgradation of the firewall, downgradation of the firewalls, configuring the security policies and NAT policies and other things, creating the profiles, and rebooting the firewall and shutting down the firewall. Every other commands are there. Let me show you. I guess it has been ready now. Yeah, now it is ready. So your device is still configured with the default admin password, something like that, because I didn't configure any password as such. Let me go to the new. Let me go to that HTTPS 192.168.1.103. That is my Palo Alto IP. Let me log into that. I will use the name as an admin. Password I'll give it for an admin. Then I will log into that. Your device is still configured with the default admin password. I can change the password whenever I want. Creating administrative session. Please wait. Now it is coming up. It will show me the screens of the initial screen of the Palo Alto. And these are all the interfaces which we are seeing. And these are all the interfaces. I configured around 5 interfaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which are showing green means it's up and running, which are black color means it's down, it's not configured, or the cable is not connected, like that I can just say. And the general informations, if you'd like to see, these are all the general informations. Device name is PAVM1, and the IP address is a 103 I configured, and the default gateway given as a 1.1, that is my gateway. And you can just see that there is some licensing and other things will not be there, none is VM licenses none. And these are all the system logs which already has been just now has been started. So we are seeing the system logs on this, and logged in by the admins. How many people have logged in? Logged in through the web. You see there is a web is there, and logged in, admin has logged in through the CLI. It's showing that what time he's logged in, how long he's been idle. This all will be shown. And the config logs, when you're configuring something, it will be showing locks. When you lock it out something, configuration locks, you can have that, see that. And you can see that here, we can make that some of the, if you like to have some layouts, 3 columns, 4 columns, you can have it. Widgets, you can add it, like application widgets, you can add. System widget, you can add. Logs widgets, you can add. So if I click URL thread, it will come here. If I just click thread logs, it will be coming here. If I do not want, I can just click on close, close, close. Means for just managing the things easily. So we can add the widgets. It will be showing us more. So the system resources, how much is been utilized. Management CPU is utilizing 34%. And the data is something 0. Nothing is going on through the firewall. And the session count, there is no session means a VPN session. And I can just go to the device on the, the tab management. Here it comes like the name and other things which are shown as it is. And if I can make it up something bigger so that you can see host name is PAVM1, node domain configured, time zone I can adjust that, geolocations, authentication settings, log settings, log storage, other things. You can see that minimum password complexity and the benefits, banners and messages. I can give them banners for the people who are logging through the SSH or something. They will be getting the message from this. And request resource timeout, another thing, panorama settings I can do. Operations. This is from here I can able to reboot the device. Through the GUI I can do all these things. Reboot device, shutdown device, it's possible. Miscellaneous, custom logos, SNMP setup we can do. And you can just see this is the configuration management. If you like to revert the configuration, you can do. If you like to save the configuration, you can do. If you like to load the configuration, means a set of configurations will keep it. So like it's like a checkpoint like that we just do. Means like checkpoint in the sense 10 configurations I made, but I wanted to load the fourth configuration, means I can just say load 4, then it will be loading the fourth configuration. Exporting that and importing that. Exporting it means it is sending the configuration to outside. Importing means configurations, pulling the configurations to inside, like this. Services, DNS servers you can configure. Update server, this is updates.paloalto.networks.com. This is can be updated, means what is the update I will be getting there? I'll be getting this virus definition, signatures, upgradations, like spam controls, firewall things, many things, virus definitions, and everything can be updated through this site only. But for if you're looking for that upgradation, updates need to come regularly to your firewall, in the sense you require a license. Valid license is required. Then only it will coming up. Otherwise, it will never talk. Then you see valid verify update server identifies, and then it goes on. And the secondary NTP server I can configure. Interfaces. So one interface I configure. This is like management interface is there. That is the only one interface it is showing here. This is because we are seeing in the device side. And I can just say telemetry. This is for telemetry reports, content ID. And I can go for Wi-Fi. Like this is some of the features which can be activated. Source IP, source port, destination IP. You can find out every other information. Session settings, ICMP, NAT64, TCP session count. Everything I can set up on this one. HSM, hardware security module provider. These are all can work only when license is there. Anyway, let us go to the network and we will see something more. These are all the interfaces I configured. As I told you, there are 5 interfaces which are showing up. Ethernet 1/1, I configured it like a layer 3. Everything I configured a layer 3. I can configure it in different modes also, layer 2, as well as trunking. I can do many things. So these are all the IP addresses I assigned for the firewall. This I use it for Ethernet 1/1, which is connecting to the outside. You see the outside security zone. And the Ethernet 1/2, it's a layer 3. I'm using this network for inside zone. And Ethernet 1/3, I'm using it for a DMZ zone. Like that I can have OSPF, BGP and other things. I can keep on creating the zones. From here I can create the zones on this. These are all the zones which I created. By default, there won't be any zones. We just need to create that. Okay. Some guest and other VPN will be there, but those are all not useful. We have to create our own zones and we'll have to put the interfaces into the zones so that we can configure it properly. And the VLANs you can create, virtual wires, you can do that. Virtual routers, it's important because your firewall, how does it going to talk to the outside world? That is being controlled in this one. Let me open it up and show you. Here I can just write on study route. Through this default route, there are all the packets which are destined outside, means to the internet, goes through this. It takes this as a gateway. I can configure RAID protocol, OSP protocol, and BGP protocol, and everything I can configure. So you can just do the canceling. Tunnel configurations can be done from here. DSCP I can do, means DSCP server. Palo Alto can work like a DSCP server. DNS proxy also we can do that. So like this is about the VPN configurations. It will go here. QoS I can do. The network profile I can create it here. IPsec gateway, IPsec crypto, IKE gateway, all the profiles, QoS, LLDP, BFD profiles I can create. Objects, these are all the objects which I can create, means like server objects and user objects, networking devices objects, I can create it over here. Means instead of using the IP addresses, I can object, I can give a name to them. That is called as an object. Here I can do all the filtering and other things, security profile and other things. Okay? This is a policy. It is very important. This policy has to be created. NAT policies has to be created. Associated security policy has to be created so that the people will be accessing whichever the whichever the thing they would like to know, that they can access that. This is a monitoring space. This monitoring will not work without having any proper licensing platform which we have. Else we can just see only the system logs. That is also not showing. Yeah, it is showing. Okay, system logs, you can see that. Rest of the things will not work properly, because when you see the traffic log, it will not work. Traffic log is the one which we normally look for. Who is the person who is actually going outside, who is coming up, what protocol is accessing, what is the protocol, port number, destinations, and IP addresses is accessing. That is what more important, but we couldn't see it without a license of it. The ACC is also one of the network activities which we can see. We can see through the application usage, user activity, IP activity, destination activities, many things which you can see there. We can see it through like a graph analysis. We can see threat activity, blocked activity, tunnel activity, many things you can see. So this is about the dashboard. So we've seen already the screens. So like we will be configuring this firewall for our own company. Maybe you can just go for that. Okay, if you have any other questions in your mind, you can ask me. And how was it the sessions? You can update me like that in my chat sessions. You can just do that. That you can do that. Or if you have any questions about the certification side and the how long the sessions may go up. If you like to take the Palo Alto certification, I'll be training you for engineer level. So it may take at least a month for you to learn all these things. We will install the Palo Alto in your own laptop. I'll give you the requirements for that. Minimum around 12 GB we require in laptop, and i7 laptop is required. i5 will also work, and keep the space of 500 GB hard disk is required. Then we can definitely work on. It is not only the firewall we will be installing. We will be installing some web servers and clients also will install. So we require some more processor. That's what I was saying. i7 will be the better choice. Web server has to run automatically. So we just need to run it along with the Palo Alto. And the clients need to run either Windows 7 or Windows XP has to be running so that we can check it out. So minimum we require that 3 to 4 instances should be running in our virtual machines as a virtual machine. One is a Palo Alto firewall. Second one is a web server. Third one is a client. And the fourth one maybe like a DMZ web server. You can keep it. Different zones web servers we can make the labs available, so that i7 with 16 GB optimum and 500 GB hard disk is required, so that we can see all the practicals without having any issues at all. So if it is going less than that, then because every other training is going to be on the session online only. Online session, Zoom session itself will take a lot of memory, at least a 500 MB it will take that from your PC. So think of it. So the CPU utilizations and other thing may go up high when you go for a online session. So this is a requirement I just say. About that, what are the things which are required? i7 is a processor I'm looking for. 16 GB as a, so let me write down here. 16 GB is the processor, DRAM we require, 16 GB. And 1 TB hard disk if you have, it's nice. Else you can go for a 500 GB hard disk on this. And i7 is the CPU we have. So because this Palo Alto itself will take at least 3 to 4 CPUs for that, 4 virtual CPUs. And the web servers will be taking at least 2 CPUs for you. So like that, everything will be completed here only. So we require to have the CPUs for that. So if you'd like to learn the firewall, any firewall, either it's a Juniper firewall, VSRX, or is it a Palo Alto firewall, or you are going for a Fortinet or ASA or FTD. FTD requirements are heavy. FTD is minimum 8 GB required for one firewall. So that is a bigger problem. Problem in the sense what? Resources need to be keep ready. Then only you will be able to enjoy the complete sessions on this. What is the training cost and the certification cost? Certification cost, you can check it out in the, in the website itself. Near about all the certifications are coming around $300. So US dollars it will be like, and there will be some kind of online sessions available, or maybe you just need to go to the proctored exam, so you need to get into the view certificate center or something like that. That I can, and I'll be giving you the training cost. I can set it up. You can just ping me directly, or you can just give me your email. I'll give you all the information. So what are the chapters I'm going to cover it up? Like what labs will be seeing that. I've given you the hardware software requirement. I'll be giving you the all lab list as well, like what we will be doing that, what are the labs which we'll be seeing that, what are the scenarios are we're going to create and we'll be seeing that. All things I'll be sending it across to you. Please give me your email addresses in the chat box so that I can see and I can send you the informations to you all people. I will not send any other unnecessary informations to you. Don't worry. And you can see in my screen that my email address is there. You can send an email also. Could you please give me your email addresses to me, please? If you don't have any other questions in your mind, or if you have any questions, please you can ask me, and I'm ready to answer that. Could you please give me your email addresses, please, so that I can send you? Yeah, Prasant has given the email address, and Pramod, you asked about that. Please give me your email address. I'll send it to you as a single email. Okay, Tejas. What about Pramod? Pramod, send me that. I will be giving all the information about the training cost and certification cost and the lab requirements and lab list, which I will be sending it across to you. You can give it on only the email address. I don't want anything. Just give me the email address. I'll send you all the information to you. Thank you. Silam, okay, Pramod has given that. Pramod Chan, okay, good. All are giving it. Yeah, thank you, Pramod. Thank you. Gautam. Everyone can give it, not a problem. I'll be sending you only the necessary information about the Palo Alto related only, not other things. So you can enjoy. And as usual, I would like to request you that please subscribe to my channel to see the new contents on that and to get trained and equip yourself to the new certifications in other levels. I'll be helping you getting certified, as well as we are offering the job also to the people who are certified people. So I can able to help you on getting the jobs as well. It's not a bigger issue at all. So, but first of all, I just need to verify your knowledge level and your performance level and all. Accordingly, the profiles can be given to you. So if you don't have any much questions on this, you cover McAfee. No, currently, no, I am not working on McAfee, but late, maybe like in future, I may be covering up McAfee also. McAfee is completely a software based. Let me see that whether if I can start with some other McAfee things. Yes. Thank you. So I guess everyone has given their email addresses, and if you have any questions, you can ask me. Else, I will be going for to close this session because we've been talking about Palo Alto for last 1.5 hours. Guess I started at 11 exact. So now it is 12:30. So thanks for all the people who joined today to listen to my presentations, seminar, webinar, I can call it as anything. And please promote my channel, and please inform my channel about with your friends, and they can subscribe to my channels as well. Thanks everyone for joining the sessions today. And I am ending this meeting. Thanks for all. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.